Welcome everybody to the final assault VR Master League. What week is it? Let's take a look. Week 4 of Season 2. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster SnooperFax. How are you today, Snooper?
I'm doing great. Just getting ready for a nice, hopefully quicker match than usual final assault matches go, but they could last a while.
We'll see. We'll see. I think we're probably going to be seeing some pretty standard 30 to 40 minute matchups with these guys. I would anticipate some good back and forth, but I would be surprised if we see early shutouts coming in from either one of these sides, just because the skill level on Naoko and Manello is relatively high. They know what they're doing. They're not really.
I've definitely played against them.
Yeah.
They're very good.
Yeah.
They automatically know what to do. They know how to do the trades. They know how to make sure they're efficiently using their resources. It's pretty crazy how good they are.
Yeah, they definitely have developed strategies and different sorts of methods of attacking with each one of these squads. And we will just kind of get into this pre-round here. You can see Naoko going for Galland and Manello going for Nichols. One thing we should point out that was recently been introduced this season is if you win with a division, you cannot play that division again. So I would anticipate that both of these players kind of saving that Beaumont pick for a more advantageous map, maybe Hill 512, or I think the other one is Wallenberg, which would also be great with those Calliopes.
Oh yeah, the Calliopes are pretty broken, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
You can do some real work against them.
Absolutely.
So
and
you want to go for that Beaumont versus Beaumont matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true, and that's probably why both players here have opted to not choose Beaumont. And we will dive in to this first round here. What map was it again? I think it is. I can't remember the name.
It's the mine.
Copal Mine, yes. Thank you.
Yes. All right, here we are.
Get our orientations figured out here. On your left will be Naoko in red, and on your right, Manello in blue. And this is a bit of an interesting map. I don't think I've seen played very often in the league rotation. You get this kind of odd crossing in the center, and we'll see what kind of troop deployments, if any, are get thrown out to sort of utilize that middle lane. Right now, we are seeing reinforcements from Naoko and Manello to their sky.
A lot of planes coming out.
Yeah.
2 on Manello, 1 with Naoko, but they're not using them very well. They're just sitting there doing air cover. They're not trying to get troops that true. Oh, there we go. We got some strafes going down. There we go.
Yeah, usually those early fighters are utilized for that early troop advantage. You see Naoko doing a great job of microing his fighters, and I think that's one of his really great skill sets, is that he's super adept at managing all the micro of his fighters and making sure that they are utilized in good ways.
Yeah, definitely keeping them protected. I've seen him lure quite a few planes into his base anti-air. If you're not paying attention, obviously.
Yeah.
Got a tank coming around over towards the, I guess, top of the mine.
Yeah, for the reference I always go with is your colors, so Naoko's in red, Manello's in blue. When those are oriented properly, that's the true north. So right now, Naoko laying down that aerial fighting power with the on the north side, and that tank is set up for that north airdrop, which should be coming in pretty soon.
Let's see how they do this. Because right now it's just sort of a troop push. He's keeping that tank over there, defending his pickup. But nothing much happening besides troops versus troops, a few strafes. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, you do have, well, I guess these troop trucks in the center are giving Naoko that advantage in the center, and he is able to get a little bit of tower damage in the middle, and his north lane is pushing. So the 2 troop trucks inside Naoko's base are giving him this lane advantage. Obviously, Manello being focused in the air, you can now see he's just been tearing up. And now he's got those P-38s out. Those are going to be a real devastating element to anything on the ground. Naoko has to prevent those from really being successful by getting a fighter swarm of his own, and that's what he's doing here.
He's got, what, 4 planes up right now?
Yeah, 5 fighters. One, I think, still floating around in his base if he wants to reinforce.
6 and a 7.
Wow. Yeah, so he knows the strategy to prevent the P-38 from really doing its damage, and Manello's trying to counter this by getting some ground AA out of his own. The first airdrop does finally come in, and it looks like it's going to go into the hands of Naoko.
That tank picking it up. Sent out some anti-air, but it's getting countered by bikes, and it goes down pretty easily.
Yeah, really nice counter there by Naoko. I think he had those bikes set up there earlier to take control of that airdrop position, just in case the airdrop went to center. I think a little bit of a tank exchange in the middle too. And it's just interesting to see the real heavy back and forth here. Manello's trying to get some AA out, but he doesn't have ground control. Now the tank's there to reinforce, so we should see anti-air start to come out to the center and help try and get Manello the advantage in the air. But right now, Naoko's really commanding it. 6 fighters to the 2 of Manello.
Yeah, he's got Manello pretty pinned into his base right now, and Manello doesn't have many base defenses to fall back on. Could be a pretty rough map.
Yeah,
he's
gonna run into real issues when Naoko starts to throw in the tank destroyers and gets them into position where they can start firing in onto that base. The B-38s are going to be the counter to those tank destroyers, but if he doesn't have air control, they are going to have a tough time dealing with them.
Pushing back with that 1 tank in the center there. It's just he's really got to gain control of that southern corner.
Yeah.
Definitely get that tank out of there.
Yeah, if tank destroyers start propping up here on the south, that's when things can start to get real messy, and that's what's happening right now. You can see one in the middle pushing up here. Oh, and he does actually back it off because he realizes he doesn't have the air control there. The P-38 is coming in to try and take it out. The strafe run doesn't do too much damage, and now we're into a micro air battle. 1 fighter goes down.
That was a good trade there.
Ooh, we might get another. Oh, loses the P-38. I think that was worth for Naoko. He can reinforce his aerial squad pretty easily.
Yeah, Manello's only rocking 2 planes, and that's not enough air cover to defend your P-38s.
Yeah, and he actually... You can't keep on those P-38s die either, because look at this tank destroyer here just peppering the main base.
Yeah, that's a really, really good ground control he's got over there. That corner is pretty clutch to keep on your side.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get those tank destroyers out of there, they're just going to start hitting your towers. And of course, he's letting his infantry push up along the corner.
Yeah, he's got really great lane presence here. He's really applying a lot of pressure onto Manello. And I think it's worth noting, Naoko right now is silver tier in the worldwide ranks, so Manello is master.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good players, though.
Absolutely.
Like,
there's not a ton of diversity like we have in other leagues in terms of those star rankings, but it is interesting, worth noting. This definitely is a good way to start off a series that he definitely wants to win, because it'll give you a nice MMR boost.
Yeah, it would definitely help him a lot. He's moving up into the mine entrance, trying to get that tank out of there, it looks like. Is he moving over there, though? Oh, yeah, we got some tanks.
I think he's trying to build a little bit of a force. Wants to get a little bit of a pushing force out here. You can see, I was going to say, Naoko hasn't reinforced this tank destroyer location with anything else other than those fighters, but that anti-air is actually down in that little pocket, just kind of circling around, and that could be real effective when it comes time for an aerial micro fight.
Manello's definitely got control of the air.
Look at the control of ground from Naoko. Go take a look at this base right now. I think he started to spawn in a couple bazooka trucks, and I mean, I think that's 6 total troop trucks in his base in comparison to the 0 from Manello.
Well, that's the thing with infantry. They're not good in the general sense, but if you give them an opening, they could win you the game.
I mean, they're certainly keeping Manello inside his base. He doesn't feel comfortable to push out very far, although he has done a decent job of advancing a little bit in the north.
Look at that fighter swarm. P-38s are essentially neutralized with that.
Yeah.
Granted, he does have 8 on his side. It's just if you try and go head-to-head with that, you're going to lose a lot of planes, and probably the P-38 too.
There'll certainly be a pretty wild micro battle. That airdrop going to that circling anti-air on the X, so that's the second one for Naoko.
And you could try and send some Jeeps and take care of it, but the tank destroyer is definitely going to catch a few of them, and it's really not worth the monetary investment to take out that anti-air.
And there's so much going on for Manello right now that he's completely forgot about his tanks in the north that have just been getting peppered by this artillery. He's not going to be able to recover them, and down they go. That's going to open that up, that north side up for tank destroyers and anti-air now. So Naoko really trying to choke out Manello here and keep the pressure applied onto his towers. He's almost got one tower down.
I mean, those 2 tank destroyers are just going to keep him pinned down.
Yeah.
You really can't get much out of your base that way. Here's the air battle. Looks like it's going to go to Naoko. Only 4 planes left on Manello's side, and that's, like I said, not enough to protect your P-38 in the air, especially with that anti-air.
Going down. At least one of them.
Oh, and there goes the tower.
Yeah, he's got to start to get his focus either into that center spot or the south, which is now getting reinforced by more troop trucks. You can see sending out a bazooka and another normal troop truck a little bit more forward, just in case an artillery strike comes in. Now that makes a total of 8 troop trucks and 3 bazooka trucks for Naoko. He is seriously applying the pressure with these units, and those bazooka troops are going to start to become pretty effective on the turrets themselves. You do see a little damage on the south.
Well, that tank destroyer in the center has just been pounding away.
Yeah.
You really got to take care of it, and he's gotten his value worth out of that tank destroyer. Probably twice over at this point. Oh, and we got another tank destroyer pushing up along the north lane.
Air battle coming in here. Tons of fighters going down to the hands of Manello. P-38 also getting picked up, though. Only now the second one. Oof. Lots of buys here coming in to try and reinforce this aerial army, but it is not going the way of Manello. Naoko, 7 fighters to the 3 of Manello. He's trying to get the P-38 to get rid of this tank destroyer, but doesn't have the fighters to reinforce, and the tank destroyer is still alive.
That is the hero unit right there, that tank destroyer. And of course we got that southern push that just hasn't been stopped. That might be it. That might be the winning game.
Yeah, he has tank destroyers actually applying pressure on every lane now. Losing the north tower, only 1 left there. He'll lose this south one because there's so many bazooka troops, tank destroyer. He's trying to fight it back with the P-38.
Naoko's effectively taking out every P-38 he can find. It's the right move, and of course another tank destroyer coming up the center lane. And 2 tank destroyers together is pretty deadly. You're not going to get them out with tanks at that point.
Yeah, this is the hard push from Naoko. This is all of his work over the last 10 minutes coming together here. I'm actually surprised to see such a quick game with both of these players, but Naoko is just dominating this, and I think this is going to be the map 1 into the hands of Naoko.
He invested hard in planes in the beginning, and guess what? Those planes got destroyed pretty quickly. And Naoko's been effectively countering the planes every time while doing a nice, slow, steady push with the tank destroyers.
Yeah, the death tolls are ringing for Manello. His base getting chunked down by copious amounts of enemies. He's trying to fight back, trying to strafe down the tanks.
But the tank destroyers are going to take it.
Yeah.
Not enough on the ground to stop it. And there's anti-air strafing the front of his base. There it is.
I can't believe you let us lose this battle. What are we supposed to do now?
Good
solid, yeah, a very solid performance, a solid plan from Naoko. He knew what he had to do to beat that, to beat the Nichols in the air. He knew he had to have a heavy air force like he did, and we saw that early swarm very early on. He wasn't investing into troop trucks like you would think a Von Ritter would be. He was instead investing into those planes to make sure he had that early air advantage.
Definitely an interesting play from Manello's part that didn't work out.
We shall prepare for map number 2. Also try and bump SnooperFax up on the audio department.
Alright, I'm trying to work on that.
A little bit more. We're almost there. In the meanwhile, we'll set up our map number 2. It is going to be on hill 512.
Is that better?
Yes, that's great.
Okay. Alright, in the match. There we go. Hill 512 is definitely a bigger map. Nichols versus Beaumont. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, we'll see what Naoko is going to do now. He's won with Von Ritter pretty handily. That is his, I mean, definitely a strong division if you can afford to get to those tank destroyers. And it looks like there's no... Yeah, I'm not sure what Manello's picking. He's been swapping back and forth. If he goes with Beaumont, it will be an interesting choice. He'll still have to focus on getting good air control.
Yeah, Hill 512 isn't exactly Beaumont's favorite map. You don't have those wide open straight lanes that Beaumont likes to put artillery on, and you're mostly going to be getting to calopies to try and get that damage in.
Yeah, the walls and divots definitely play into the hand of Beaumont, just because if you can play those calliopes effectively, you can do some serious damage over hills and walls. We'll see how this second map shakes up. It is going to be on, again, Hill 512. We have on your right, Manello in blue, and on your left, Naoko.
Let's see what the opening plays are.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I always don't, never really remind myself of is that these players don't know what division they're playing against. They don't know who what the other player has picked at the start of this series, and it's only really revealed until you tier up and send out your tier 2 units that your division is known. Or if you have, I suppose, like a bazooka truck, people can ID that early, but.
Well, you can see if they're German or American at the beginning, but a lot of the strategy is coming in to, like, save that reveal, you know? And all of a sudden, oh, it's Beaumont, and there's a bunch of calopies on the field, you know?
Right.
That surprise can get you games. And of course, we have 3 tanks coming out.
Like, right now, Manello may not be aware that Naoko is Nichols. And I think maybe he's trying to catch Manello, and be interesting if he's just trying to save up here, maybe get a little early advantage. Oh, is he going to try and take out the anti-air? Can you do that with tanks?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
It doesn't
either.
look like they're
Doesn't
firing.
look like you can.
I mean, I don't even know if...
the artillery can.
Okay, there you go. So
this is his play. Wow, okay, interesting.
Well, I think he suspects he's fighting Nichols, and you take out that anti-air, it's a big boon to him.
Well, Naoko is Nichols, so I think what he's trying to do is get down this AA in the front early so that he'll have free reign to send P-38s deep into the defenses of Manello and harass him. Because right now, if he gets down this anti-air, it's going to make it really hard for Manello to set up troop trucks. The P-38s can strafe them down very easily. It's going to be hard for him to establish a real stronghold in his base. But he has gotten to tier 3 as well, so calliopes are going to start coming out.
A lot of units coming out.
Yeah. He's got pretty dang good control of this hilltop. Calliopes coming in to reinforce, and he instantly backs off. Now he knows he's up against a Beaumont. And he started to get that air control set up. 3 fighters on the field.
Will that calliope be enough to push back all of this? 2 artillery, 3 tanks. I mean, that's a lot for even a calliope to deal with.
Yeah, it is. And Naoko's definitely proven to be very effective in the micro department. He's super skilled at managing those fighters in the air and all these units on the ground. That early push Got him 2 artillery down on the front. That's an interesting play. A really interesting sub 2-minute play. One thing I felt like I never really saw a lot of was very early moves from some of these top tiers teams, and it's pretty cool to see Naoko do something like that on this map.
Yeah, definitely very interesting to see. 2 top tier players just slugging it out though right now.
Look at that micro. As soon as the Calliope came into firing range, both tanks and the artillery backed off.
So far, that Calliope's holding him back. He did lose 2 anti-air though before that could effectively happen.
A good little move there from the Calliope. Does grab one. The P-38's coming into strafe. Now Manello knows he's up against a Nichols if he didn't already, and now he may suspect what that strategy was of denying the forward-facing A. Look at this P-38 just hammering away on units in the base. Does go down.
Ooh. 2 Cals. He's trying to get that 1 down. He's also hitting the anti-air pretty effectively there.
Yeah. That 1 AA doing that circle in the front, pretty dang effective at grabbing a lot of this air superiority up in the front of his base.
I mean, by my count, it's taken down 4 planes, and
yeah,
that's paid for itself.
Yeah.
He still lost a Calliope there, which, oof, that's a lot of points. More AA coming out.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see the very quick response from Manello. As soon as that first P-38 came out, it was definitely held on to for quite a while from Naoko, but as soon as it came out, this fighter swarm propped up from Manello. Now 6 fighters circling over his base. I think he's well aware of the strategy that Naoko's trying to enact.
Oof. Can he counter it, though? He's sending out Jeeps to go get that arty, but will they make it past the tanks? Ooh, they did.
Yeah.
And they got their target.
Nice little push up there in the north. Nothing really going on in the south in the meanwhile. And this is kind of one of those maps where if you don't try and pay attention to the entirety of the field, you can definitely tunnel into one side.
Yeah, but it seems to be one big fight over here where those tanks are. But he's holding on to it quite well. I mean, there hasn't been much push out of the base.
Yeah, I think Naoko invested quite a bit in that early play to secure some ground and grab those artillery. It's now all sort of gotten whittled away, and so I think he's trying to figure out what his next move is as Nichols.
He's winning the attrition war against those planes, though. He's taken out at least 10 of them for every anti-air he's lost, and that might get him the game if he can just keep up that efficiency. Calipes are finally starting to move out. He's got that anti-air. Just circling. Look, I mean, the Calipes could definitely take it, though. Another
wow.
AA going down.
Manello's really getting a good-looking ground force established here. 2 Calipes, that forward-facing AA. It's really peppering down these fighters that are trying to break in. The tank might get the artillery. Does look like it does.
But... oh, and there goes the P-38. A lot of AA trades going on right now.
Yeah. This AA in the center really doing work for Naoko. The 2 of them able to take out a good chunk of that fighter squadron that was circling above, but
those Calipes are nigh invulnerable where they're at, though.
Yeah.
Sending 1 tank to try and counter them, but will that be enough? Will it actually do anything? We don't know. I don't think so, though.
Can't take on 2 Calipes. Sending in a reinforcement of Jeeps to try and grab it down, and that's going to be pretty dang effective in terms of damage. Chunks it down to quarter HP. But man, these Calliope's on the underside of this hill, just using that line of sight to continuously pepper any units that try and come up and push on them.
Ooh. That tank probably could have gotten a shot off if it was aiming the right way, but just the fact that it had to turn a little bit gave the Calliope's enough time to take it down. Manello's effectively pushing back on this pretty strong push in the beginning.
Yeah. He's trying to regain that ground. Lots of fighting going on in the sky.
Sky battle begins.
This actually is not looking very good for Manello right now. Naoko has regained air superiority.
Does that entirely matter when it's going to be Calliope's and tanks coming at your face? I'm not sure.
If you can't counter those P-38s, you're going to be in trouble. So he's very weak on AA right now. I think he realizes that. He's reinforcing some AA up into his Calliope defense spot on the hill. Nice look, he's trying to move forward a little bit.
Huh. Here we go. We got a P-38 strafe on anti-air, and there it goes.
Instantly picks it up. Now all these Calliopes are in serious danger. One goes down. The second one nearly taken out. That P-38 actually having trouble getting that strafe run on the other side of that building. Does finally scoop another one up.
Well, that P-38 picked up anti-air and a Calliope before it went down. So it's definitely had its efficiency there. Paid for itself.
Certainly shaping up to be a lengthy back and forth, but if Manello can just get the right advantage, he can get those artillery up onto the top of that hill. I think that could be pretty dang dangerous. They can get, I think they actually have to be sloped just a little bit down to get the right angles, but they could be peppering base turrets from that hilltop.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost quite a few Calliope's though, trying to just get where he is. He's got the one over on the south corner, but he's still only got the one. And the one on his base, obviously, but that's going to stay there.
Oof. P-38 scooped up one of two. Now it's taking out the hilltop defense.
Got some tanks coming for that anti-air, though. And the anti-air runs.
Just really good micro from Naoko. Drops back the AA, reinforces with the P-38 strafe, and picks up a couple of easy tanks.
I'd almost argue he lured those tanks.
Yeah.
There. He saw the counter, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to pull him down this line. P-38 strafe gone.
Interestingly enough, lane presence going into the favor of Manello on the south and the north.
And there's an anti-air digging pretty hard into the plains.
Yeah.
And Manello's losing the initiative. Might lose an anti-air here, too.
Tanks coming in.
I think those Jeeps are hunting that anti-air,
yeah.
But there's some really good micro keeping them away from it. Oh, they're gone. They did their job.
Just one little moment where he wasn't completely managing that AA, and it stops and goes down.
Yeah, and that's pretty much this game. If you're not paying attention to everything, you're going to lose a lot of units just to inattentiveness. But we did have some infantry hitting some turrets on Nako's side. Looks like Manello's taking the air. Granted, all those planes are heavily damaged.
Just both teams really kind of fishing for an opening. Naoko's trying to find some holes in the defense, trying to take out the anti-air units with those cheeky jeeps and trying to get some fighters down, but he's having a tough time doing it.
Yeah, those tanks in the center and on the left and right, they're a nice spread to sort of keep the field clear of anything like jeeps or random tanks, or even Calliope movement at certain points. It's just a threat that he has to deal with before dealing with anything else, and that thought sort of slows him down.
The fourth airdrop going into the hands of Naoko.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Fourth one's pretty good chunk of change. First two you can kind of ignore and maybe get by, but that fourth or third and fourth one, that's money you want.
Especially during this mid-game point when you have those expensive units to be unlocking the P-38s to come in and reinforce. Look at this huge push coming in with the ATVs in the tank. Does get a couple of units, but that P-38 just shuts it down with one strafe run.
Yeah, Nako's really good with those strafe runs.
Yeah.
He can predict where a unit's going to move, and I mean, unless you're very proactive about it, he's going to get it. And it just wears you down mentally. Like, stamina-wise, you have to micro against that the whole time, and it's hard.
Yeah, I think Nichols was definitely the right choice for Naoko against Manello here in this Beaumont pick, because the threat of P-38s is preventing Manello from even being able to really set up a solid defense in his base. He doesn't want to set up and waste money on the tank destroyers because they can just get strafed down by one quick move from a P-38.
Yep. And they're not fast enough to even try and dodge it, so... And I feel like this map isn't even worth using the tank destroyers on just because of the hill, all the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, finding a good angle that's actually going to do stuff, rough. Not the best Beaumont map.
I mean, it does play into the hand of Calliope's relatively well. We've seen some effective uses there, but he just doesn't have the fighter swarm he needs to deal with the P-38 strafe runs.
Yeah. And even now, where there's only, what, 2 planes up for Naoko, like, he doesn't have the money to try and counter that. He needs to focus on this ground push.
And if he does try and focus on the air, he's losing money to Naoko, because Naoko actually can buy those plane units for, I think, $1 or $2 cheaper than Manello can.
The attrition war is definitely an important thing to think about. Man, these tanks coming up in front of the base are just getting pounded by the Calipes.
I mean, all Naoko needs is just more lane presence. I'm surprised we haven't seen any reinforcement of a couple more troop trucks inside his base.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised about that too. Granted, the Calliope's been pretty effective at holding the infantry off, but
yeah,
they've done some damage to the towers.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that from infantry. They're free units.
This is Manello trying to push back. He wants to try and regain control of this hill. It is a very effective defensive position if he can get that Calliope up there again.
He's got one out front, but it's dodging that P-38 is going to be the challenge. Oof.
Man.
It's just that P-38 sniping anything that comes out of the base.
You know, those trees actually are doing a pretty decent job of preventing an easy strafe run. So I think this spot's actually a good spot to keep this Calliope.
Yeah. Ooh, that anti-air losing its friend, but still didn't take out... Did it take out the P-38?
I think the fighter did.
Okay.
It was a team effort.
But another P-38 comes out. Definitely one thing I've noticed about Naoko is when he loses a P-38, he usually gets another one in the air with him. It's just... microing down P-38s is rough.
Yeah. Into another bit of a stalling pattern here as both squads have a pretty low net worth and have to reinforce their army.
In a bit of a stalemate, but here comes another box all the way to Nako.
Jeez.
That's money.
That is probably what's keeping him in this game. If he wasn't able to get all those cash drops, you wouldn't see all these P-38s able to take out and deny the pressure from Manello.
Yeah. I mean, I'd argue Manello's been very good with his units. He's been very efficient with them, but
Yeah.
he just hasn't got the cash drops.
Yeah.
We do have a bit of an infantry push going on over here. Nice ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing significant, but it's most of the way through. Oh, here goes. Okay. There's a strafe to end it. That's why control of the air is pretty important. Even regular planes can end something like that, where it's like, that's a really significant amount of infantry gone.
Yep.
And we can say the same about Nako over here. A pretty sizable ball of infantry coming up. That was a nice juke.
Yeah.
Those jeeps.
They're hunting down that AA. Naoko's not letting it go down this time.
Nako and that air support from the P-38s. Pretty clutch. He's sending out the weapons and that.
Oh, no!
Wait, what was that?
A botched artillery strike.
He just artied himself?
Yeah, I saw him kind of like in frustration raising his hands, and he must have messed up that artillery strike and where he wanted to deploy it. That is 30 gold down the drain.
Oh. I mean, he might have been trying to put a unit down in his base and then hit the wrong thing. I know I've certainly done that, but ooh, that's a lot of points just
yeah, it's a lot
in
of
the bucket.
cashola. Quite literally burnt.
Yes. That negated almost, what, 2 of his boxes at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, and look at that ball coming up on Manello's base.
Oh,
That might be it.
well, it might take down that south tower, and Manello has realized this. He's going to send Calliope in.
Still.
Nope. Doesn't save the tower.
No. That's a lot of units, even for a Calliope to take down. And here goes Manello. Trying to do a life-saving push on his base, but infantry in your base.
Yeah.
All it takes is one quick tip and you're done.
I think he'll be able to hold on to that. He just got to tuck an artillery into that corner, and it should be able to shut down a lot of that pushing power. But Naoko has reinforced these lanes. He's got a total of 7 troop trucks inside his base. One thing Manello could consider investing in here to stop this lane pressure would be to send in an artillery strike of his own.
And I think he needs to do that. Clear out some of those troop trucks, even if it's just 3 or 4 of them. That'll do wonders for his lane presence.
He could also grab some AA in that artillery barrage if he were so inclined.
Well, there's only 1 P-38 in the air. I'd almost say send out a bunch of planes after it, get that efficiency bonus. And use that mistake artillery to your advantage, because Nako's definitely kind of hurting for cash at this point.
Yeah. But he has so much freedom to mess around with Manello just because he has lane presence here. So many troops constantly knocking at the door of Manello makes it something he always has to be dealing with.
Yeah, and spending money on those Calipes won't push him back all the way. I'd almost argue he needs to put down like 2 or 3 troop trucks in that lane just to prevent it.
Yikes, look at this P-38 just free strafing these units in the base.
And that's why he took down the anti-air in the beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
once he has the air, he can just do that willy-nilly. Even have anti-air in the front of the base? No, just a Calliope.
And all he has is those 2 on the side that are doing a little bit of work when he overextends. But he basically just doesn't, as long as he doesn't go right over the base, he can continuously harass. And 1 turret goes down in the north, and there's only 1 left.
Yeah, and there's no counter to it right now. There's no Calipes up. There's nothing. This might be it. The plane's coming in, hopefully for a strafe, but no strafe coming out.
It does take troops a little bit of time, if it's just them, to whittle down the base.
There's the strafe.
Yeah, he's lucky
no
that
towers up.
I was gonna say he's lucky that fighter survived, and I think Naoko realizes the importance of that fighter. He's trying to take it down. He's getting reinforced by 2 more.
I mean, once they go down though, that RG's not gonna save him. Oh, and there goes a troop truck. One of his last saving graces against infantry on the north side. Oh, both troop trucks are gone. I think this might be our final moments.
Commander, the base is under attack.
Yeah, Manello is really trying to stop this push from happening. Naoko focusing the few units he has in the sky into this sky battle, which is important because it's drawing those fighters away from being able to strafe down these troops.
Oof.
He is pushing it back a little bit. Naoko
still taking damage to the base.
Yes, he
There's
is.
a tank in his base. And he is pushing it back. I'm not saying he's not. This is
No, he's on death's door for sure. If he lets the P-38 get in there and strafe down the tanks he does have that are saving him right now, it could be bad news. He's got a couple of fighters up to deny that, but
I mean, at this point, if it was me, I would be dead. But Manello's definitely way better than I am. Oh, box Naoko. That could be the killer moment where he just sends something down the lane.
yeah. Naoko finally buying a tier 4 paratrooper unit there to reinforce his troop lanes even more.
Do you think he's trying to rely on the infantry to take down the base?
Yeah, I don't know if he's got anything. His P-38s can't strafe because the anti-air will prevent it from being able to get close enough to the base. So he either has to artillery down that base AA to allow his P-38s to strafe, or do something else here.
And that P-38 picks up almost two jeeps, which doesn't sound like much, but that's crucial points he needs to save, and those jeeps definitely had a job that they didn't do. And there they go. There goes the other one. P-38 hunting down.
Almost no fighters in the sky right now. Last one going down there for Naoko. Looks like Manello may hold on to this defense for a touch longer.
Well, the infantry are tagging his base almost every time they get in there. You'll see a small chunk of change get taken from his base, and I mean, over time, that'll kill it. Put you right on the edge.
Yep. Got 2 troop trucks, or 2 troop planes, excuse me.
We got
So
some
one of them
tanks.
I think actually one of them's not dropping. Okay, I was gonna say I think one of them's not dropping units, but it is indeed. So the troops coming in thick and heavy onto the base of Manello. You can see P-38s strafing the base. Those tanks you mentioned on the hilltop are going to start to reinforce, and this may be the push from Naoko.
Yeah. 2 tanks in the base versus 2 offensive tanks. That's not a great defense. Oh, 3 offensive tanks. And then a 4th coming in with anti-air strafing the front of his base and a 5th coming around the corner. Yeah, this is a lot to deal with if he doesn't have the points to just suddenly spam out tanks.
The good thing that Manello has going for him with the tanks is that they are cheaper for him than they are for Naoko. So right now he can buy a bunch of them to try and save this, but look at all the troops inside his base.
There's nothing you can do. And you can see he's sort of
stop trying to fight. Yep.
Save his energy.
Naoko grabbing himself map number 2. That secures himself the series as well.
Off to map 3.
Off to map number 3.
Definitely a good match, though.
Yeah.
It was a good fight from Manello's part, but Naoko just kept pushing with those P-38s.
I would say that early move he made to take down the AA is what honestly won him that game in the long run. Because if he didn't have free reign on the front side, I feel like Manello's management of the Calliopes would have won him that.
Yes. He could get planes in the base and take down things as they were coming out before they were a threat to his units. That definitely will do a lot of work for you.
Geez, now we're going to Wallenberg. And I'm not a bet. I mean, if I were a betting man, I would see Naoko's gonna be going into a Beaumont here.
There's no reason for him not to, though. I mean, it's a great map for Beaumont.
I don't know. Maybe he feels more confident in the troop pushing ability right now. It looks like he's going to be writing up a Simmons. See if that's what stays or not.
Now, Simmons is definitely not a player or a character I'm good with. So we'll see what he does with it.
He certainly proved that his ability with Von Ritter is there, so he's able to manage those troop divisions well, and we saw pretty good management of the troops. I mean, that's what he used to win the second map too, so I think he's just sticking with what's been working for him.
They're definitely hard to counter once you get them in the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Artie can do it, but if you have the ability to take those down before the troops even get touched by it,
right,
you're gonna get killed. Now, what is Manello gonna pick? I haven't seen any picks.
No, probably yet.
Okay. Yeah, that P-38 action, you have to be impressed by that.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people that go up against Naoko, that's what they say, is that his ability to micro those P-38s, or micro the planes in general, is really quite up there, and definitely proven that he's pretty skilled in the sky. Let's see what he can do against whatever Manello opts in here.
Is that a Simmons for no? Seems a bit indecisive about what he wants to pick, but it's what he thinks can do the job. I mean, Simmons is a tough play against Naoko, or with Naoko being Simmons.
I'll wait till he readies up before we cut to the division screen. Does look like it will be a Simmons versus Beaumont as we hop into Wallenberg for our map number 3.
Now remember, the new rule is that if you win with them, you can't use them, but if you lose with them, you can use Beaumont all day.
Yep.
So
now, is that a good strategy? I don't know. Using a division that you've lost with.
I mean,
You know.
Beaumont's a really, really good division.
I know. He's definitely the agreed upon tier 1 top tier division amongst in the current meta, at least right now. That should be getting a nice shake up with the PSVR update, which is in the works.
I played the beta, and it's definitely shaking up the meta.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of new units and new maps where it's just like, oh wow, this changes the game almost completely.
It's gonna be an exciting time for the old veterans and for new players to be getting in. I'm sure that's what they're trying to obviously appeal to, is those new PSVR players.
Oh yeah. But they're still doing some adjustments to it. Some things are still a bit...
I think I'm going to try and get my hands on testing it as well, so...
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, forget where they... I almost saw
it's a fun beta. It's a fun beta, but we got planes coming out. Looks like a mirror.
Yeah, we are into our map number 3. On your left in red is Naoko. On your right in blue is Manello.
Here we go.
Simmons versus Manello, and we see air units in the sky already. He may be trying to... I mean... He's certainly not fooling Manello into believing that he's playing Nichols right now. Because he knows that's not possible.
But one interesting thing about this map versus the last map we played is there is no anti-air at the front of your base. So, essentially, the anti-air push that happened in the last map, it's already happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, and this map could get real dangerous for Naoko very quickly. I wonder if the Calliopes, if they can position up onto that middle hilltop, if they can shoot down into the base. None of those base turrets.
Well, they can take out the front ones. I'm not sure about the rear ones, though. And with 3 tanks taking each of the box positions, that's a pretty solid move on Nako's part.
Nako's got 4 troop trucks, which are resulting in this push in the north onto the towers. Another 2 in the south, also giving him that slow push lead. He's actually slowly... I mean, he might get a tower here pretty soon.
Oh, you saw that first box come down, and Nako picked it up because he's already got the tanks there. And it looks like Manello's trying to rely on Artie to take down any infantry push, which could be dicey.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be working out right now, just because Naoko is able to reinforce with the strafing runs from the planes. Like you said, no artillery anti-air in the front, so those planes are free to strafe these troop lanes.
Well, as you can see, we got 1 cow out, so Beaumont's been revealed.
Yep.
And that's where most of his money went, to get that cow out.
Yeah, that's why he was able to... That's why he sacrificed that first tower, too, because I think he wasn't sending any units, investing in tiering up to tier 3, and now here comes the second one.
Yep. Two cows out. He's trying to... Looks like he's going to try and take the center island. I mean, if he can get a cow up, pushing into the base, he can take down a lot of that infantry truck action going on.
Push is starting to come up. He is going to be fighting for that little landmass in the center, sending 2 tanks up in the follow-up of the Calliope. Should be a pretty good squad to gain control.
And we got bazooka truck over on the hillside over here. And yep, he's taking the island, that's for sure. And taking out the tank who's defending it.
Now things are going to start hurting for Naoko.
Well, he moved his troop trucks back. I mean, he'll maintain control of the island just because I think Simmons doesn't have a very good counter push against these Calipes, but I mean, he's already got a pretty big ball coming over.
Ooh, that artillery actually doing some damage.
Will it take the Cal, though?
No. Very close.
Oh. There it goes. Was that a bazooka that took it out?
I don't know. Yeah, it must have been.
Like, there was that bazooka in the lower lane, and I didn't think you could shoot up the hill like that, but guess it could. Okay. And here comes 2 tanks, fully healed, fresh out of the base, to take on the 2 in the island, but that Calliope support might hold it.
You think three Calliopes up here on the top, I think, will be enough to deal with 2 tanks.
I mean, I've seen Naoko do crazy things
That's true.
micro-wise. Just like pushing the tanks right under the arc of the Calliopes and then getting some good damage in. He does need to get a Calliope over there and take out that bazooka truck. 4 tank push.
It's a lot of money coming in from Naoko to try and get this hill.
I mean, he can't forfeit it, though. He loses the whole front of his base if he does.
Yeah.
And as good as Calliopes are, if you attack them from multiple angles, you'll get them down, but that's just a lot of Calliopes to deal with. 4 on the hill, plus 2 tanks. That's... As Simmons, it's a hard push.
Yeah. Oof, look at this turret. Look at this tower.
Almost gone. Down its last third. And yeah, there it goes. Now in this build, it only takes 2 Calliopes firing on the base to really take it down.
It's a mortar troop that's hitting these tanks on the hill.
Oh!
We're just not seeing the mortar arc. I do remember that being a spectator bug.
I mean, I wasn't going to call bugs on the bazookas, but...
Yeah. No, I mean, the mortars definitely the ones doing the work there. Ooh, the bomber coming in from Naoko. A nice strafe run, grabbing one. But look at this, the damage right onto the base from the Calliopes.
Yep. And it only takes 1 more arc.
My goodness.
2 Calliopes to do this. But there is no air coming in from Manello. There's only 1 plane. Yep, 1 plane. Oh, there's some anti-air though. Just, he will get some bombs off because that anti-air won't be able to do it quite fast enough.
Gets the bomber. Yeah, he gets enough though to take down the Calliope on the top. That tank now uncontested, working its way down on these artillery, or anti-air, excuse me, and it gets 2.
That tank was nearly dead. If it had any kind of defense, it would have definitely gone down, but the anti-air just can't do damage to ground units, so... Manello working with 2 Calliopes, 2 tanks, and 2 Arty. Against the constant pressure of troops coming from Simmons. And here we are, we've got a good ball of units coming down on the lower tract. I believe that's south, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I mean, Arty will stop it, but
yeah,
it's still just, it's pressure. It's free pressure, too. Once again, that bomber just doing free reign.
I think Manello is just sending this Calliope on a suicide mission to that base. And it might not be.
Said, it only takes 2 more shots from Calliopes.
Yeah, it might not be much of a suicide mission. It is here. It's peppering away on the base. 1 volley goes out. It's still alive. Here comes a second. Not the full one.
Oof, and there it goes down. But he's down to his last 4th of health.
Yeah, 1 more volley, 1 more Calliope backdooring him wins him the game.
That just came down to inattentiveness there, I think. He let it get all the way there. The bomber could have taken it down at any point on that north push. But he just didn't pay attention to it.
And you can see the bomber here. This thing can drop bombs literally in the base because of that lack of AA.
Yeah, and he's got 1 pushed up, but I feel like ground AA just does not do enough damage to bombers.
No, he needs fighters to reinforce it, but he doesn't have any of those up either.
He's got a 2nd bomber, though. If Manello just had any kind of air presence right now, he could take down those bombers pretty effectively, but he just doesn't. And he has to spend all his money to keep this push up and keep the infantry out of his base. As you see, there's a big ball coming through the south lane.
Well, I think that's the first cast drop I've seen go to Manello.
Well, that'll definitely help him right now, because
Yeah.
he needs to push back this whole infantry push.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's coming in hard and heavy on the south.
Yeah. And that sneaky gallop, he can't happen right now, because he needs to make sure those troops don't get into his base again. But he's taking down a lot of bombers. And those bombers aren't cheap.
I wonder why we haven't seen... I honestly think that all he has to do is just buy Calliope, send it up that one middle lane in the center. Doesn't even matter if the bomber hits him a little bit. The Calliope's pretty durable.
Yeah, and he doesn't have enough defensive troops to
Right.
even reposition and take him down. His base is untouched, so he's got a good minute of infantry damage.
Yeah, not for much longer, though. He doesn't have any turrets there in the middle. He's getting pretty heavily pushed by these troops from Naoko. And again, that troop push, the troop power from Naoko coming into play here, giving him this really the only presence he has in this matchup. Otherwise, it would definitely go into the hands of Manello, I think.
Yeah, 6 troop trucks is nothing to snuff at.
Yeah. And a bomber about to go on another bombing run.
Well, he's sending out tanks, and they're pretty vulnerable. And as you can see, he's bombing the anti-air.
Yeah, got one in the corner.
Yeah, he's going to try and win this with bombers, it seems, because there comes another one. Just clearing the way for that infantry. Oh, there goes the tanks. Ooh, they didn't get hit by any of those bombs, but they got hit by those. Okay. Naoko's definitely showing off his skill with the bombers. Basically using those giant P-38s.
Yeah. Grabs the 2 artillery in the front, too, so now he'll be able to really... I mean, he can strafe Manello's base with bombers if he wants.
He's got that one Calliope, and I understand it's defending his base,
There
but
it
there
is.
it is.
There
Yep,
it is.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly what I was going to
Just go for the back door, Manello. Scoop up this map.
I mean, it's only one full barrage,
Well,
and it'll do it.
Here's a tank coming in. 2 tanks. Uh-oh, if he gets caught up in this tank battle, that Calliope ain't gonna make it.
Well, there goes...
Nope.
There goes the Cal. That's rough.
Yeah. Good stop from Naoko to deny the Calliope from coming up that lane. He sent in a couple of tanks to reinforce, and it paid off.
I'm just surprised Naoko still has money after burning all these bombers. But he isn't buying much else.
He doesn't have to. Look at the troops that are continuously applying the pressure here, forcing moves from Manello, forcing him to kind of have rotations of these troops around his base. And
I mean, if he gets a second Cal out, I'd just recommend sending it out
Yeah.
of base. But I don't think he will. He's getting his Cals destroyed with the bombers before they can even make it out. I guess I'm not trying to imply that he's getting them destroyed, but 2 bombers, it's hard to run from.
yeah.
Oh, there we go, another one.
I think Naoko is just trying to take out any unit that's inside the base of Manello so that these troops can push in and do the job for him.
Well, one thing you have to respect about Manello is he hasn't had his base touched in all of this.
Yeah.
That Cal's going to go down soon, though.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer that untouchable base is going to last.
Especially since he doesn't have control of the map. One box will really put Naoko over the edge.
Oh, there it is. His base does start to get damaged, and 2 tanks, 3 tanks actually, are going to be in here with the bazooka troops. Naoko may be able to grab map 3 as well.
I think he's got it. Anything that comes out of that garage is going to get either leveled by the tank. Yeah.
Manello had a backdoor opportunity, couldn't seize it, and now Cal, on the brink of death, comes back in 15 minutes' time, secures himself map number 3.
Yep. Good games, though. Definitely some good games.
Yeah, this is exactly what I anticipated out of these very skilled players. A lot of great back and forth. Naoko, though, man, he is looking really good with the current meta. I'm curious to see how that's going to get shook up when the update comes, but for now, he's very skilled on a couple. I mean, he's showing if you're going up against him, you gotta be worried about all the divisions.
Oh yeah, he's definitely proven very proficient with almost all of them. I mean, Simmons is a division you can definitely lose with, especially against Beaumont, and he just
it is a very low tier. It's very low on the tier list. So interesting to see him doing so well with them.
He knows how to micro, and that's really the important thing. He used those bombers really effectively, even though he was losing a lot of them. That was some accurate bombing going on.
Yeah. What a fun couple of matchups to watch. We have some more later today, about an hour from now. Let me take a look at who it is. I believe it's Bradley, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I have it up right now. It is. Sadly, it's Bradley versus Not Sporks.
That'll be another really good one. That should be another solid back and forth. Curious to see how that one gets played out. Brad going up against the Master tier, Silver versus Master again, but I would say I would put favor in the hands of Brad for my vote. But we're not there yet. We'll get to that action in about an hour's time. If you do want to drop back by and catch that, be sure to. I think that'll be it from us here on the desk, though. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to get involved in the league, head on over to vrmasterleague.com/Final Assault. You'll find all the Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook links, as well as the Discord link. You can sign up to participate in the league. And a reminder, there's a $2,000 prize pool for the winner, for actually first, second, and third place. So, a little cash to be won if you also want to try and get in on that.
I mean, it's not a very big league. You just have to get past these very good players.
Yeah, I mean, watching footage is probably step 1, and learning the meta step 2. But I mean, you can get some great strategies from some of these guys. Like that early play from Naoko to take out artillery is definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, that anti-air push was, oof.
Yeah.
It crippled him almost. It kept him in the base. He could just P-38 him all day.
See what kind of strats we get in just a bit. Be sure to tune in then. That'll be it from us here. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, my co-caster, SnooperFax. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.